Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight.
It's going down tonight with the Force of Friendship. Oh, we got issues. Oh, it must be 6 o'clock because we are here in tow. All four. Wow, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All four of the Force of Friendship are all here. I know Jalen's even giving us a round of applause. Round of applause. We got issues today, and we're so excited. Every night we're excited about bringing you this show. And I have to say this, I'm so excited about the energy that you guys keep giving us, the insight that you guys keep giving us, the callers that you have. You guys are cluing in here. No idea what we might be talking about, but you are cluing in, excited, knowing that we have something to bring you. We are going to be landing upon a year in a couple of months. A couple of weeks now. We're down to a couple of weeks where we're going to be hitting on a year of We Got Issues. And what we know for sure is we got issues. And you got issues. We all got issues. So we're excited about this show. Today, the show, seriously, you guys, is about missing, and particularly in the African-American community, missing, something that's not talked about nearly enough, but we're going to get educated. They're so excited that every day we learn something new on this show. So before we get started, we're going to go around and meet and see all the girlfriends that are here today. We're all here. We're all excited. How in the world do we do this every day? How in the world do we do this every day? We do it because we love it. We do it because we have energy. We do it because we have a vision for what we can bring. And we started this off because we really understood that the power of talking about good girlfriends was important, was necessary. And we have plans coming up, you guys. Ooh, keep your ear to the ground. Keep your ear to the ground, because you cannot take 4 ambitious, amazing women and put them in one place and not come out with a huge explosion. So we're excited. So we're going to go to the city that hosts this radio show, WFDF, coming out of Detroit, my hometown, but it's where Crisette lives now. So Chris, what's happening? What's going on?
Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here as per usual. It's been pretty much a quiet day on today. Excited about this show. Oh my goodness, Gloria, I am so excited about your guest. Can't wait to hear her story, because I absolutely know that it is a big issue that is not talked about enough. But of course, was up a little late, and last night they were saying that, Russia was encroaching and was, getting ready to invade Ukraine, and then woke up this morning, turned the television on, and bam, they've done it. And of course, we know a lot of airtime was taken up leading up to it. Is he? Maybe he's not. He looks like he's not. I mean, he just took up so much of the airspace on the whether Russia would invade Ukraine or not. And of course they did. So, I'm really feeling sorry for the people of Ukraine. Not sure, what kind of military power they have, if they are going to be able to, fight them off. But if not, Russia is saying, hey, we are invading, we're taking it, and that's it. And I just think, God has a way, and sometimes you just have to leave it to God. But I'm so glad that President Biden is taking a stand. And of course, we know he put more sanctions in. And, I was listening to one of the reporters, and they said, well, Putin has been planning this for a while. And she said he has a reserve of money of over 600 billion with a B dollars. So us shutting down some of the banks
for this war.
Just to have money, because Biden shut down some of the banks so that they would not be able to withdraw money out. So that was part of their sanctions. But of course, Putin, he knew that was probably going to be one of the sanctions. So he's been stockpiling $600 billion.
Billion.
That's all with a B. That's a lot of money, you guys. So, just feeling, some kind of way, and really sad today for the people of Ukraine. So it's just a lot going on in the world. We just have to be vigilant, stay in the know what's going on around us. But yeah, that's the news that I have for today.
Yes, that's big news. That's big news. It's scary news. Katrina, what's going on out there on the West Coast? What's happening on the West Coast? Force of friendship
Oh
out
my
there.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, today I was working out to Mary J, Gloria, and your song Just Fine came on, and when she said, "I'm gonna wear a smile even if it's raining," I mean, I almost felt like crying. I felt
Right.
like crying. I'm sitting here looking at my iPad right now, and last night while y'all were asleep, I was texting with our friends in Ukraine, and I was blessed to find
Wow.
out that they made it out. And she told me,
Good.
she said our city has been invaded, but our particular city had not been invaded yet, but people are hearing loud sirens and faraway bombs. Panic began at 6 a.m. They were in the process of moving anyways. However, they were getting ready they were selling their house, and they just had to leave. They left their house and their cars and told since they're 2 hours away from where they were invaded, they told their friends, here's the keys to the house, here's the keys to the car, use whatever you need to use to get out of town. And they are connected to an orphanage there. And I mean, the text stream was just, they're even waiting to hear, because they have been able to get out, but so many others have not. So
Did they get out of the country, Katrina?
They got out of the country, but a lot of people that are further east, the East Coast is where it seems to be where they're coming in. People are trying to get to the West Coast, but they did get out of the country. But now I understand that even the airwaves, are shut down. And there's so many Russians that are protesting in their own country. And they said, I just saw 1,900 people had already been arrested in Russia for protesting, right, Sabrina? So
yeah,
it's no joke. But I took some time last night to really study. I know we can't talk about it now, but to really study and understand what's it all about. And what you said, Chris, he pivoted starting way back, I think in 2018, he pivoted and built that alliance with China. So it's like, if y'all don't want to connect with me, I got a new boo over here. This me and him. Right. We got this. Right. So cut me off if you want to, but I got this. So it's a mess.
China's got Russia back, and Russia got China's back. For real. For real. Mm-hmm. It's a real ugly situation. So we'll go from that situation to Geneva on the Lake. Geneva on the Lake. What you got going on, Sabrina? What's happening out there, Sabrina?
Well, just certainly prayers for peace, prayers for the world, prayers for all involved, prayers for Ukraine, the leadership. Just thinking about those families who can't get out, nowhere to go. Can you imagine living in that situation where you don't know where a safe place is? You don't know whether to go under. You don't know where to go across. You don't know where to go. And for many, there is nowhere to go. You just pray that you don't get hit from the air, from the land, from the cyberspace, and it's just tragic. And it didn't have to happen. And honestly, yesterday, Katrina, when you were very concerned and you and Chris were talking, I was just the eternal optimist. Like, he is not that crazy. He is not that crazy. Really, at all costs, he will just do this, knowing that it's going to create so many problems worldwide. And so now it's like, did Biden say enough? Did he sanction enough? Did he say it fast enough, hard enough, strong enough? So we're just all in a situation. And even though it's them, it's us too. We're all in this thing. And so, prayers.
Sabrina, just to add to that, they were talking about, Russia produces a lot of gasoline. And so even Biden was saying today how he's going to work really, really hard to keep our gas prices down, because Katrina, your gas prices on the West Coast are up to $6 a gallon. How do you even go from point A to point B at $6 a gallon. I mean, literally, I cannot wrap my mind around. I have a problem with $3. I can't wrap my mind around $6 a gallon.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
When I got here yesterday, Ken told me it was $4. I didn't even hear about $6. He told me $4, and I was going nuts about the $4. I did not know that it was $6 out in California. And Sabrina's point is well taken, where this is going to affect the entire world. And it's not China and Russia versus us. It's everybody against everybody on this thing. It is everybody's going to get hit hard. Can you even imagine? And the other thing is, you know, there's one thing about the economy. The other thing is about the fear and the energy that's going to enter the world, because people are so afraid of what's going on. That is going to be.
I know, Gloria, just
so
coming
hard.
out of the pandemic, we're just starting to think about living again fully. And then here we go. Another major crisis. And so we got issues. We got issues.
In decades.
We got issues.
Europe hasn't had this kind of conflict in decades.
You guys, they haven't heard those sirens since World War II. Those sirens that they're hearing, they haven't heard them since World War II.
Y'all, to me,
it's really
Europe.
something.
To me, staying in the house, and I'm not making light of COVID at all. I know there was a lot of loss, but I would rather stay in the house than be threatened by some bombs. So,
Sure. Because in the Ukraine, the situation was just like we're walking around not like this right now. And then 2 weeks later, you can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. You can't see. Right. They're so shocked. Even though you hear it coming and they've been talking about it, they've been shocked by the reality, because it hasn't been this long, like the Cold War, where they have a long conversation leading up to it. He just, I'm preparing. And now I'm taking my $600 billion. And when you look at the map, it's very, very scary. Very scary. So there's a lot to talk about. But right here, we're talking about the abduction of children and what happens with it. You guys, before we bring our guest on, before we do that, you guys, listen to this. It is an estimated that 2,300 kids are missing every day in the United States. 2,300 children every single day. Well, our guest is very familiar with this, not only because of herself, but because of what she's done with her situation. Please bring our guest on with some good fanfare. SMonique Smith, we're so excited to have you with us. So excited. You guys, I got to know her. She's fire. And I'm so glad, because she really does enlighten us with a lot. And I am so excited that she's going to tell us about her story, but not only just her story, but what is going on with the world of this industry. What we've found out is that there's so much going on in this world that we don't know about. So we're excited about having you on the show, SMonique. We're excited about you lifting up this topic. We're excited that you're bringing to light some things I had no clue about, but it's a very big deal. So I'm going to let you start a little bit. Just introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bit snippet of your bio before we go to break. We got about 2 minutes.
Okay, so real quick, I want to congratulate you guys about this sisterhood. This is amazing just to see the energy that you guys are bringing in the most crazy time in the world. So everyone really needs this. So I thank you for that. I am SMonique. I have been trying to let the whole world know that all missing children aren't dead. Don't give up hope. We're out there. And when you think that the cold cases of 20 and 30 and 40 years and what happened to the missing milk carton children, there's life beyond the milk carton. We just didn't know what actually happened to us. So I'm looking so forward to open the mindsets of individuals and making them instant advocates and helping the world actually help with recovery efforts.
Yes, I'm excited, because when we come back from break, we're going to be talking about the different things about family abduction, stranger abduction, runaway, throwaway, lost, strangled, injured, and benign reasons why people leave. Talking about teenagers that leave and everybody that leaves. It's really interesting how families abduct and why they abduct and all that happens. And then you take all of that and you put it into the African American community and you see the challenge. We'll be right back. Right after this break, we're bringing you a show today about something we don't talk about every day, but need to talk about it all the time. Talk to you soon. We'll be right back. Oh, we are back. We are back. We are back. And we got to get right to it because these numbers are going to blow your mind. People, listen. These numbers, 435,000 persons were reported missing in 2020. 59% of them were white and Hispanic, 37% minority. You guys, nearly 40% of the missing persons are persons of color. Yet the African American only make up 13% of the population. These numbers are mind blowing, you guys. I'm gonna tell you some more before we bring in SMonique. An estimated 203 children were victims of family abductions in 1999. A family abduction occurs when a family member takes a child or keeps a child in violation of the custodial parents. Of the family members, 78% of abductors were non-custodial parents. 35% were children between the age of 6 to 11 years old. 24% of the abductors lasted between a week and 1 month. 82% of the abductors attended to affect custody permanently. 21% were other relatives of the children. 42% of the children are living with a single parent. 15% were living with another relative. 66 were taken by a male relative. I mean, I got some numbers here, but I want to go to SMonique. Tell us a little bit about your background and your story and why this is such a passion for you. So the floor is yours. So please talk.
Well, again, I want
Welcome
to
to Talk
applaud
Radio.
you. Hey guys, how y'all? Can you hear me? I'm okay.
Yes, you're great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you did a phenomenal job. What you do, I pray that everyone does. Hearing the story and learn a little bit more about it, though the statistics that you shared is happening in every single person's backyard. You know, these abductions is not something that we hear about in foreign countries anymore. We would assume that abduction and trafficking was happening, you know, in sweatshops. If you have a zip code, there's an abduction reported, and there's definitely human trafficking going on. So those numbers are real numbers. What's really sad is the disparity that's going on in the African American community, where it's requiring us as a people to come together and assist when we know we're not getting the resources, we know we're not getting the funding. We have to pull ourselves together, pull out, you know, selves into an arena where we want to help families. Now, what you didn't share was the heartbreaking number on top of the number that you shared that are missing. It is known that within 2 hours of an abduction, the person is abused, physically abused, mentally abused. Within 2 hours of that abduction, they are emotionally abused. They are raped. And within 2 hours of that abduction, they could be trafficked to another state. And I'm in the DMV area. We have a high traffic corridor on the 95, track. It's huge. Within that same 2 hours, they're dead. They're reported have been murdered. So we even have to be careful with some of the ways that we advocate with the missing person flyers, because you're throwing someone in a frenzy who is already committing a crime, and they're thinking like, what am I going to do now? And that potentially puts the victim in harm's way. But the preventative measures that we take with finding out how we can protect our family, it is such a struggle when it's a parental abduction, a family abduction. It's a very difficult process. So I'm glad that you are opening up the platform for conversations like this, because the conversations that you have to have now are tough. I have to talk to now, when she was 14, I wasn't thinking to talk to her as if I was talking to a 17-year-old. Remember, we could have those conversations with a 17-year-old because we knew that they were ready. No, we can't be with our young adults all of the time. So we have to start at a younger age on what's happening in our community with our family. The highest percentage of abductees are done by somebody that they know. It's done by somebody that they know.
That the child knows?
Yes. The grooming process. I mean, unfortunately, I've been doing this for 20 years. There's not a profession that I haven't heard been involved. A physician, a coach, a teacher, a mentor, an employer. Just when you know that you have a vulnerable individual, they become your prey. And that's really sad. So that's why we as adults, care providers, mentors, we really have to pour a little bit more into that. The reason why this is such a difficult process for me, because I learned in 1996, I was a graduate of WEB, which is Women's Entrepreneurs of Baltimore, and I wanted to start a business. I knew I couldn't go to college because for some reason I never saw my birth certificate. And I begged, I pleaded. I was always met with abrasive tones about my birth certificate. So I graduate from this, entrepreneurial class, and I, do all of the processes, and they say, we need you to tell us who you are. Every time we do a background check, it's coming back invalid. I'm like, what? What do you mean? But I kind of knew, because there were other signs that I didn't ignore, but I kind of continued on my path to becoming who I was trying to be. So I said, you know what? Let me dive into what do they talk about? They won't send it to me. So I contacted.
Now, how old were you at this time?
I was the assumed age of 28, 29, or 30. So I said, I filed these applications. I got a private detective, and I waited. It took a couple of months, and the paperwork started filling in, and you could see my brain go into a warp mode like the Twilight Zone. I was opening letter after letter after document after document. One said I was born in 66. One said I was born in 1965. One said my name was Monica. One said my name was Monica. One said my name was, it was just, and all of the things that I had heard over the years by the people who I trusted were coming to to my forefront. Oh, she's not my niece anyway. We don't care. The whispers, give me that toy. No, you give me the toy. Well, I'm going to tell your mother. I'm going to tell your mother. Well, she's not your mother anyway. And it just didn't dawn on me. So the reality really set in. It was just like what we're talking about with the UK. Like you're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, my world is coming down around me. Like I'm going to be homeless. And I knew my papers were all falsified. So even every day when I went to the branch at a bank, I was going to wait for them to say, we just looked at your account. We need you to produce some paperwork. I feared for my life every single day, being a mother of 4, trying to figure out how was I going to navigate this life without ID. I can't leave the country. You're talking to a person right now that I have yet to receive any documentation of who I am, what my name is, and where, anything. I can't, everyone's traveling. They have a passport. The smart IDs are coming out. And I've really been hard. But during my mission, I made sure that I gave back to the Creator what He gifted me, which was life. So I advocate for missing people. I advocate for unidentified people, and I advocate for trafficked individuals. They can count on me to be their advocate. I lobby for changes in policies and procedures. I've written a book. I'm a 4-time Amazon #1 bestseller. I'm proud about that.
Wow.
I'm the director of thank you so much. I'm the director.
Yes, we're going to go into that.
Yes, I'm excited about those things.
Monique, before you go in there, can you tell them, because they don't know, the radio audience doesn't know your story. Like, how did you get to that place before your graduation? Tell them the story so I don't have to tell them the story.
You said before what now? I missed that.
The story, your story about how you got there, because you took us right to graduation, but tell us the beginning.
The beginning was, I didn't know what the beginning was. Like I literally was living a life of a fake person, or,
because you were abducted. You have to tell them that you were abducted. You were the one that was abducted.
Oh, and I didn't discover that. I really didn't discover that until 1996 when the paperwork started coming in and I went back to the family. So yes, I discovered it in 1968, 1969, that there was a woman who maliciously stole me from my mother in New York. So I'm not the case that you heard about the hospital. I'm not the one that came from the, when she disguised herself as a nurse. No. So there's a population of missing kids that are still, being brought to the forefront of what happened. So I've been struggling for a very long time with what had happened. I've been through the law enforcement agencies. I've been through FBI, tracking everything. And I'm talking 20 years. So this is a 50-year-old case because I'm either 54, 55, or 56. Now, I don't want to get into the horrific abuse that I endured. But you've heard the stories of Amanda Berry. You've heard the stories of living in captivity. You've heard the sexual abuse. I can go into that's how traumatizing children are put through. You hear like the same situations with foster care. You're supposed to be cared and nurtured for, but you're used for a tax right. You're used for social service. You're used for food stamp benefits. You're used for nurturing and taking care of it. It was all for me. And that went on from the first time I could remember. My first real sexual assault was the age of 4.
Wow.
And that is a lot. That was a lot. And things that I thought were normal. So, right. And I love the title, Missing in Plain Sight, Plain View. Right. I was walking freely to school. I was walking freely, to back and forth to the store. But I had not even known that somewhere in this country, someone was looking for a missing baby.
I'm missing
Wow.
you. We're going to be right back at you right after this break, Monique. Thank you so much for telling us. We're going to be right back. You guys call in because you might have a story or you might have a question at 313-778-7600. Call in to We Got Issues because we want to talk to all of you. We'll be right back after this break. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. There we are. There we are. Welcome back to We Got Issues. We're talking about how we deal with abduction. And we're talking about it in the African American community precisely. We've got questions from the girlfriends, but Monique, I really want to, number one, invite everyone to call in if they have some questions. But I'm going to ask you to go deeper into the story that you conveyed with me on Instagram, because that was really, we could feel your story. And I want them to feel the story because you have some great news to share with us and some about the journey. We got some questions. So could you take us back? Take us back. Don't think we know, because we don't. Don't think we've heard enough, because we haven't. We want to know your story so that we can follow your journey where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as a mother, as a person, we all want an identity. We have certain roles that we play. We're wives, we're CEOs, we're authors, and it was always important to me about leaving a legacy. Even before I knew what had happened to me, I was just so proud of my role of being a mom. I was the PTA mom, I was the soccer mom, I was the rollerblade mom, you named it. I had kids and they were 4 years apart. So almost I needed rollerblades to get to college, middle school, elementary school. So it was a phenomenal thing. And I took pride in that. So it was devastating to me to know that the one title that I had of being a mother was basically jeopardized. I asked God for nothing but motherhood. And then to discover that, unbeknownst to myself, I falsified my kids' birth certificates. I signed this fake name on my children's birth certificate. So it was such a struggle. And, ancestors.com wasn't out back then. 23andMe wasn't out back then, but you hear the success stories. And I was, getting my DNA put inside every single portal just to get some kind of help. Doors were slammed in my face everywhere. I was the unbelievable story. I contacted the National Center of Missing Exploited Children in 2012, and they were flabbergasted. They didn't think it was a joke, but it was just, they couldn't put it together. And it took me 2 years to go, hey, I am the cases that you're working on. I'm the kid that you're looking, that was hidden in the basement. I'm the kid that you were looking for that was beat every day. I'm the kid that you was looking for with a fake identity. I'm that kid. So I need you to help me put these pieces together, because that's what your whole mission is about. And the African American community, I'm telling you, there were always assumptions that you're with Big Mama. That's who raised you. Or you would go back and say, yeah, I think I remember the next door neighbor, Lisa Ann, little Ray's sister. There was really no help or resources. So the foundation, the organization by the Wilson sisters, Black and Missing, saw that disparity. So they took it upon themselves to say, you know what, our community needs this brought to the forefront ASAP. So they built their platform to be able to put those postings out there. But to me, I suffered in a whole nother way, because again, no one should have to go through any of the things that you go through, even when you're seeking help. I was almost victim shamed. I mean, by individuals that you
Victim
think
shame
was
and
help.
something you had no control over. So you were 2 years old
Yeah.
when this happened to you, correct?
Assume 2 or maybe 3.
You don't even know your
Yes.
age at the time.
I still don't even know my age yet. So this is still a work in process, just like all of our journey where we're building our identity. And I thank goodness, that God gifted me joy and peace. I think he freed me before I knew, because I could be really seeing the cases that I've worked on, they're just unbalanced, mentally unbalanced, emotionally unbalanced. I didn't take this anger and frustration on my children, so I didn't get to
Right.
abuse my children the way I was abused. That whole story of getting whipped with extension cords, and curtain rods. I have the whole list of all of that, and it didn't hinder my ability to love and nurture my children. Where normally you hear that it's a repeated piece, like that generational curse.
Yeah.
So I am grateful for that. But
Right.
it's really just hard breaking
Right.
through barriers and being the pioneer. Like, how many people can say that you met a missing person before who's still unidentifiable?
I mean,
Is this is
when
yeah.
you say shame,
Mm.
do you feel that the community of missing people don't say that they're a missing person because they're shamed into that? Do they do they not talk about it?
Yes, they do not talk about it. I've worked on cases where kids are missing and parents don't change their social media profile. They don't post up, the missing child. They feel that, they're going to be looked at as a parent who was neglectful. And a lot of times some kids run
Wow.
away because they're just being chastised. You have house
Right.
rules. You have them meeting certain expectations, but they won't do it. They're embarrassed that their employer may find out. But then there are a lot of underlying situations at home. The kids are being abused. Mothers,
Right.
boyfriends, or the new wife does not like the children. The stepchildren. So this is why kids are running away. Unfortunately, I'm in Maryland, and the youngest age of trafficked and missing individual is 12. That is the average age. So could you imagine what a 12-year-old will be doing? And survival sex is real. People will convince you. They will convince you for lodging, for a meal, for clothing. Come with me. I know you're going through something. You don't have to go back home. And that one relationship of you running away, being reported as missing, and then you're trafficked just that quick. So my
So it's
goal
called
has always
survivor
been to
sex.
have. It's called survival sex. Yes. Yeah. It's really just.
Sabrina, you had a
It's sad.
question?
Yeah, SMonique, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for being brave, courageous, doing this good work. You mentioned an organization, Black and Missing. Is that the name of the organization, Black and Missing?
Yeah, that's founded by the Wilson sisters. I'm sorry, Natalie and Derica Wilson. They're also in Maryland. That's their organization. I'm known as Monique, and I have an initiative that spreads awareness and resources about missing individuals. So that's what we do. We campaign, and the funds from my book and my documentary, it goes directly to organizations of shelters and police officers. You don't understand that there could be a sting operation or a child found, and it may take a very long time for the loved ones to get there, social services to get there, but they may need water, refreshment, a snack. So what we do is care package. So that's how we raise money. We're an initiative where it's Black and Missing. They really promote and give the platform for additional exposure that's needed in the mainstream media. That's what their organization. They've done a phenomenal job with that.
Okay.
Wow.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
And I got to ask, I'm just putting all these pieces together. My heart goes out to you that you are an overcomer. You see yourself as a victor, not a victim. And you just created such a great life for yourself, been able to go on and mother 4 amazing children. I mean, just think how many people don't get through psychologically because of what you've gone through. And so these monies that you guys are raising certainly are for good. I want to ask, do you know the relationship of who abducted you? Was it a family member or a friend?
I don't know the details, but I knew that there was a connection. There was one component of it that was a grooming between the two, but she's deceased now, so everyone's deceased. So I won't know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And were you ever able to get back with your birth family at all? Connect with your birth family?
So, as I was sharing before about ancestors.com, I was in a portal. Now, I don't know if you know what NamUs is. NamUs is a registry that's known across the country for homeless victims that are normally found that are deceased. They don't know who they are. So they take a photo of the corpse, and then they'll pick like any distinguishing features like a tattoo, a birthmark, a scar, and they record it and put it in the registry. So I am a live person that's in a deceased registry. They do that with crime victims as well. So if you have a homicide, no one claims the body. They will put you in a registry for the unidentified called NamUs. So my DNA was in that portal. I would be happy if I would have connected to anybody, even if they were incarcerated. I would just wanted to know where my lineage was. I want to share with my children, your great 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 grandmother worked in the White House,
Right.
or we have land in Texas, or baby, you got good hair because you got Cherokee Indian in you. I just wanted, I was not giving up. I wanted my story. You hear me? I wanted to share my story.
Right.
So it was a really difficult piece. So what occurred was there's a little girl, Phyllis Powell, and I've been telling this story for so long that one evening a lady hit me up on Facebook and said, "Hey, you look like this little girl named Felicia Powell that's missing in North Carolina." And I go, "Oh, I know we got the African American Angela Bassett going on, but I don't think I'm that old." But the DNA followed the protocol with the Maryland State Police Department, and they followed contacted the sheriff office, but they wouldn't contact the family because you don't want to give them false hope. But I disagreed. I said, notify them that, let them know that long-term case is still active and someone cares and someone's working on it. But
Right.
It didn't match. We wound up reaching out to CC Moore from Nightline News, and she has a slew of DNA detectives across the country, and she assigned 10 to my case. So the state police here in Maryland provided her with the information, and they did this whole cocktail mix of trying to pull together, and it was a lady in New York who said she had been looking for a baby sister for over 50 years. She was just about to pay a private detective to look for a death certificate just so she could honor her wishes of living to be able to reunite all of her families together. Sure enough, looking at her face and looking at my face, we were identical twins. I called her, yeah, let me
No way.
Identical twins.
we were almost looking at each other. Now she's 63, so I would be like 10, we have a 10-year gap. So this is how it went.
Okay,
Let me
wait.
bring some humor to this tragedy.
Wait. The music's playing. So we're gonna come back and hear you're gonna break this down all the way down, how that happened. My goodness. The music's playing. We're gonna come to a break, but we'll be right back because we got issues and we want to hear all about it. We're so glad. This is 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF out of Detroit, and we're coming back to SMonique. Thank you so much. We are here leaning in. We're like what? A break now? A break now? No, we can't go to a break now. We want to hear the story of your sister twin finding you. Tell us what you were going to say right before we went to break, SMonique.
Okay, so so you guys are going to get exclusive because I usually don't do this part. Like you're going to get exclusive. So what occurred was, in my excitement, I was already going through not a depression, but the sinking realization that the other child wasn't me, and we had to notify the sheriff and it, let the family know. But I reached out to the family. They were very delighted to enhance their case with their daughter because of what happened with us. And the CC Moore wound up getting back to us, and she indicated that there's a chance that this is a family. So this is what I'm going to give you real time. Y'all get ready to laugh, okay? This is very funny. So I see the phone number that they provided. So I got a phone number, and I get on the phone, and I'm already trying to, it's just emotional. It was just really just emotional. And I say, hello. And I said, hello. I said, she said, who is this? I said, well, I don't know. She goes, I said, well, I said, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm looking for, a sister. This better not be a game. This better not be a game. I'm from New York. It better not be a game. And I said, oh my gosh, it's not a game. It's not a game. I'm working, the local authorities, and I'm trying to identify who I am. Well, what do you look like? I said, I don't know what I look like. I don't have any distinguishing features. I don't have freckles. I don't have a birthmark. What do you mean what I look like? I know who you are. I said, oh my God, who am I? She says, I'm 60 and you guys are playing with this social media stuff on the phone with me. It better not be a game. No, ma'am, it's not a game. She goes, I know who you are. I said, tell me who I am. I'm not telling you anything. I said, you know what? You must be my sister because that energy I'm hearing through the phone, I said, you got it. And the next thing the phone went click up.
What?
Yep, it went click up. So, social media is everything. Mr. Google is the thing. So I found her on Facebook. I started uploading pictures. They were like, ping, 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 ping. You want to know what I look like? Here, here, here. Sure enough, she dubbed the picture side by side of herself and myself. And she sent it back when she called me. And the next thing I know is, she goes, I have been looking for you for so very long. I vowed to our mother that I would never give up. I just paid. She said, I am 60 years of age. And it was on my bucket list that our mother didn't even have like a tombstone because we were all little children when all of this happened. We were so small. And she said, I wanted to find all of the children and then go get a proper tombstone for our mother who was buried. And it was just so amazing that she was looking for a baby. She said, one day you were there and the next day you weren't. And that was it. Yeah.
And the tears still flow when you tell this story like that.
I can't even imagine. And it was just so rewarding, to know that someone had cared, even if she was looking for a death certificate. It was just that traumatizing, but it was rewarding at the same time. But because we were so young and so small, she didn't know my birthday. She could overwing me a year up and a year down, like I had been doing. She didn't know my name or how to spell the name. It was just so bizarre that, she was trying to help me during this process. And still we're struggling with that.
Have you had a chance to meet face to face?
So yeah, we actually had one of those. You ever see what those when people reunite at the airport, they reunite at a restaurant. So I was premiering my movie because no one believed my story. I did my own movie. It's called The Longest Living Jane Doe. And I premiered it in Waldorf in Maryland, in Baltimore City, but I was on tour. And she and I had then spoke. Yeah, she and I had already spoken. And I guess she must have followed me. And, the next thing I know, I'm premiering the movie, tickets are coming in, people are being seated. And my daughter says to me, Ma. And I'm like, wait a minute, baby, I'm trying to get people seated. Ma. And, go outside. And I go, okay. And sure enough, lo and behold, I turn around and there she stands. Like she's walking towards me and I'm watching this woman like an angel just coming towards me. And I just broke down. Like it's a video and everything. It's horrible. And I collapsed in her arms. She literally had to grab and hold me up because that's how bad it was. And it was just emotional that I had been on this planet by myself for so long.
Right.
No mother, father, sister, brother, no real, like you guys are doing right now, the sisterhood, none of that. Like I do that.
Right.
I do that naturally. It's a gift that
we can feel it
for, that I nurture on people. And so she definitely, so her children and my children met, and her oldest son looked at my daughter. Of course, they're in their 30s, and he's like, my mom was looking for your mom, since I was 16. And my daughter's like, my mom's been looking for your mom since, I was 14. And, so it was the very first time that, my kids actually had a chance to experience like a family member, even though we didn't even care that we didn't have the actual results back from the, NAMUS is one of the registries, and it's in the University of North Texas. I'm sorry, of North Texas, right? And We didn't even get the results back, but we just went. How many people are you going to pair with a 60-year-old woman looking for a baby, and then a 50 some odd
Right.
year old we're looking for a family that look
Right.
identical? So
Right.
we're
Right.
still on the journey, and it was a beautiful thing.
That's so
But the
big.
people that we've helped along the journey, we've have new cases that have started over again. They gave up hope, and they said, they inboxed me. I stopped looking for my sister after 20 years. It was breaking our heart. But hearing your story, we're gonna go ahead and restart that piece again. Detectives who said, you know what, I'm gonna dust off those cold cases. 40 years, we didn't
Right.
look at it. It's in a box in a basement. So I was so inspired by how my story inspired other people. It just gave me
As
fuel
Monique,
for
we
this
want to make
journey.
sure that we get the information for your organization. What is that, so we can put it in there so everybody hears it? The name of your
Yes, it's
organization.
it's known as Monique Initiative. It's called the Known as Monique Initiative, and it's in Baltimore, Maryland. And what it does is that basically, honestly, purchasing the book of itself, 100% of
Yeah.
the proceeds. So we don't do the whole fundraising piece. We show the documentary privately. That's what we were doing in Waldorf when I met my sister. So I take it around on tour, and I do it as a social experience. I'm giving people a real live experience of like what you guys are doing with the story. They purchase the book,
Right.
and then I show the film and the screening there, and it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and they become instant advocates.
Well, we're going to get your information because I want to make sure that we can put it here so that people can buy the book and they can know about it and see the documentary, because there's so much good stuff coming out. She's got a big award coming out with the NAACP and documentary. That's right. That's just so big. Do you have 1 second,
Right.
real quick, to say that real quick?
Yes, so the NAACP's 53rd Annual Image Award has nominated Black and Missing for Outstanding Director of a Documentary, which means it's a four-part series, but what they pulled together to bring a deliverable to the community actually was a phenomenal thing. And it was just I'm just still excited about the fact that it's reaching that level of awareness that we needed.
And she's in it. So we're so excited. Thank you so much, Monique, for being here. You brought this show so much energy and so much light, so
Thank
much
you.
information. We appreciate you so very much. You guys will be here tomorrow.
Thank you.
Chris, did you want to talk about your show for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we're going to be talking about Love Your Heart. We have a phenomenal doctor. She's a cardiologist. So Dr. Celeste Williams from the Henry Ford Health System is going to be there. So any questions about your heart, we absolutely want you to call in to the show. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So we'll see you on tomorrow at 6 p.m.
We're all sucking out. The Force of Friendship is checking out. We got issues. Monique, thank you so much for being our guest. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation on We Got Issues. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.